Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today's video is exciting for me. I feel like I don't do product reviews often. I mean, I am always buying makeup because I love makeup, but I don't typically buy collections and I don't typically do dedicated reviews. However, your girl got her hands on some Pat Mcgrath. So this is the Divine Blush and Glow Trio in Galactic Sun, and this one is the eyeshadow palette Celestial Odyssey Luxe Quad. And it's in the shade Bronze Borealis. I was reading the back and it says use without caution, shade throwing and eye ecstasy may result with prolonged use. So I had never read the back and I'm reading the name and I'm like, wait, what does that say with prolonged use? Anyway, I got my hands on these two products. I did pick up the trio during the Sephora Friends and Family sale, and then with the Pat Mcgrath release, I went on her website, purchased Bronze Borealis, and got it for 10% off. So we are here to create an eye look. I'm going to share my thoughts with you, and we're gonna dive in. We're gonna create this look together. If you are new here, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking, I love makeup, I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, I would love to have you subscribe and be part of the K-Bella fam. But why don't we go ahead and jump into the video. Okay, so before we go into the demo, I do want to talk a little bit about each of these products. So I picked up the Pat Mcgrath Labs Divine Blush and Glow Trio. It does say on the Sephora website that these are limited edition. Mine is in the shade Galactic Sun, but there is another one in Amber Allure, and Amber Allure has Love Struck, Paradise Venus, and Venus Nectar. The one that I picked up, which was Galactic Sun, has Divine Rose, Desert Orchid, and Golden Nectar. So Divine Rose is that nice rosy shade that we have here. In the middle is Desert Orchid and Golden Nectar, and you'll see some swatches, you'll see some close-ups, and you'll get to see me using this in the video. This is $52. You can find it at Sephora and the Pat Mcgrath website. Again, I picked mine up at Sephora, and I got it during the Friends and Family sale. We know in November we do have the Sephora VIB or like holiday sale, whatever they're gonna call it. So I would definitely say if this is something you're eyeing, wait for a sale, because it is pricey. Now the eyeshadow quad. There are two quads in this Celestial Odyssey collection, I guess you want to say. I picked up the shade Bronze Borealis, and this is $54. It does say on the Pat Mcgrath website that this is limited edition, and it's $54. I don't know if I said that. I apologize if I did. This is my first quad. It's the first quad that I've gotten my hands on. I've wanted to try the Pat Mcgrath eyeshadow formula. I've heard such good things about it, and I've just been waiting for the right time. I've been waiting for the palette that screamed to me, that called out to me, that I felt like I could use on a regular basis. And when I saw these shades, I felt like this is something I could get down with. I can use the matte shade, throw on a shimmer. These are everyday, beautiful shades, and I was just really excited about it. So I picked this one up directly from the Pat Mcgrath website. Like I said, Pat Mcgrath always has some sort of sale running on her site. So again, being $54, it is pretty pricey. So definitely look out for a sale. But now that we have seen some close-up shots and some swatches, let's go ahead and jump into the demo. You are going to see me use both of these on my face, and then we will end with a review of sorts. So let's just jump into it. Okay, so let's start with the face first. I have not filmed the intro yet, but hopefully I showed you swatches of this palette and showed you close-ups and whatnot. But here is the palette right here. So we do have, hold on, I have to hold it this way so that I can read the names. Divine Rose, Desert Orchid, and Golden Nectar, I believe. So we are going to use this blush today, I believe. I swatched all three for you, but we're gonna use this one in Divine Rose. And I like to use a more dense brush because these blushes are buildable, but they go on light to begin with. So I'm gonna use my Sigma Large Angled Contour F40, and I just dip into it. And I like to start by patting it, and then I'll go down to the apples of the cheeks and like blend it in. But you can see, I mean, it looks like it's going to be deep in the pan, but I have a light complexion, and I find that I'm able to just build it up and then blend it out. So you can get some nice pigmentation, as you can see, but you just, start with a little bit. Start with a little bit and work your way up. Now I do already have contour on. I went in with my Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow and used the sculpt side. I have the fair medium or light medium, whatever it is. And I also went over that with my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer because that's in my Project Pan. So that's the bronzer that you're seeing. This side has just the bronzer and contour. This now has the blush. So I am just going to get the pigmentation how I like it. Blend it out a little bit, and I'll do it to the other side as well. Okay, so then for the highlighter right here, I'm going to take my Sigma Tapered Highlighter, the F35. It's what I use for everything. And when I initially used this highlighter, I swiped back and forth and got too much. So I would do one swipe. This was one swipe to each side. And then just blend it in that way. Hopefully you can see, I have used this before, so it's not a first impression. This is more of a review. And this is more of a, almost like golden highlighter instead of champagne. To me, it looks like it's going to be a champagne when you look at it, but it's a little bit deeper. It still works for my complexion. You know what it kind of reminds me of? And I'll have to swatch them side by side. So I'll swatch them side by side and insert it if I can remember. It reminds me of the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude Glow, where it's like a deeper shade. I can make it work for me, but it is more of a deeper highlighter. Whereas you think, oh, if you're gonna be fair, this will work on you. But I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but it is a little bit deep for me. So I can get away with it, but there we have that. Let's go into the eyes because I did pick up, what's this called? The Celestial Odyssey Luxe Quad in Bronze Borealis. This is the first Pat McGrath quad that I purchased. I have not swatched this one yet. I'm sure I showed you swatches in the beginning, but I'm really excited. Now the only thing is this is a bit deep, and I think I'm a blender. I like to blend. I think I'll need something a little bit lighter to blend out. So I do have my Modern Renaissance. If you had the retro palette, I think that would be a good one. Also the Sigma Ambiance palette. Anywhere where you have a light mauve shade, I feel like you'll be able to use that as a blending out. I just don't know. We might not use this one today, but I might try to use these three. Let me prime first. I'm gonna go in with my Fenty Beauty eye primer, and I'm gonna take the, oh gosh, what's this called? The Tempera shade in the Modern Renaissance. It has this big old pan in it, and I'm going to set that, and then we'll get started with the eye look. Okay, so normally I go in with whatever shade I'm gonna use as my transition first, but I kind of wanna try, I haven't tried this yet, so I wanna go in with that matte shade. I need a brush, maybe this one, my Sigma E35. All my brushes are dirty, so I'm just rubbing it off real quick. But I'm gonna take a little bit of that and run it through the crease. But while I'm doing that, I am getting some kickback. Let me tell y'all, I am a little irritated right now. So my mom is dog sitting for the people who live directly behind us. They have a little girl who's a couple months younger than Brielle, and they have two dogs, a Chihuahua and a bully. And if you don't know what a bully is, you can Google it, but it's like a pit bull bully. So a very big, strong looking dog, and he is so sweet. So they were going out of town, and they have a doggy door, and sometimes he will go out at night and bark if they're not home. So my mom was like, hey, while you guys are out of town, I'll go over there even though you have the doggy door, like let the dog in, let the dog out, make sure all is well, feed him. Okay, great. So he doesn't normally bark when his owners are home, just FYI. So they're gone. My mom literally had already left the house to go over there. And I hear the dog going crazy in the backyard. And then all of a sudden I hear kids' voices. And I'm like, what's going on? So I am getting ready to film. So I have my makeup half done. I go outside and I hear the kids next door like barking at him through the fence and taunting him. Basically, the more he barks, the more they bark. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I throw some shoes on. I pop my head up over my neighbor's fence with the dog. And I'm like telling him, it's okay, like in a calm voice, it's okay, go inside. My mom's on her way over, just go inside. And he did, he calmed down. He looked at me and started calming down. Poor thing was so scared. This massive, strong looking dog, so scared, was backed up against the shed, like away from the kids. Like the kids were over here on the fence and he's like on the complete opposite end. So he goes inside and I immediately get onto the kids and I'm like, y'all leave him alone. And the kids are like, okay. So I go inside and immediately text my mom and she's like, okay, I'm almost there. So she gets there and the poor guy is like completely out of breath. He's like breathing heavy, panting. So my mom closed the doggy door so that he couldn't go back out for now because the kids were outside playing still. But I just got so frustrated because first of all, a lot of people, or not even a lot, some people are terrified of dogs like that, big, strong, pit bull type dogs. There's already a stereotype. And now we have these kids taunting him at the fence. The poor dog is terrified. He's backed up against his shed. But even, you know, when dogs are terrified, you don't always know how they're going to react. So if he had reacted differently and started jumping up against the fence or jumping at the dogs, who's going to be to blame? The dog. When really, the dog is just reacting to what the kids are doing. And I'm sorry, that just upsets me. Like, I know not everybody is a dog person, not everybody wants dogs, not everybody has dogs, but like, I'm not going to go into the forest, like looking for snakes and start like taunting them and throwing things at them and like ruining their habitat. Like, we should not be doing that to dogs either. Kids should know to respect dogs. You don't go up to a dog you don't know. You don't go up to a dog's fence and start taunting them. And it's not like this is the first time I've seen it. I work at a school because I'm a teacher, and our school is like inside of a neighborhood, and in the neighborhood there's this one house where they have a clear fence. In Texas, everyone pretty much has those wood fences that you can't see into, but these people in the neighborhood have a clear fence. And one day I was leaving work and these like middle school kids, I work at an elementary school, but these like middle school kids came by and they were like talking to the dog from across the street. Of course, the dog, the hackles on its back are all standing up. It's barking at the fence. It could easily clear the fence if it wanted to, but it's like jumping up against the fence barking, and the kids are like laughing and still talking to it. So I had passed them, got upset, turned around, went back over there and got onto the kids. And I really, like, these were middle school kids. And I'm like, hey, y'all need to leave him alone. And the kid was like, oh, I was just talking to him. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're teasing him. And then if he jumps over the fence and attacks you, it's his fault and he's going to get put down because you're taunting him right now. Leave him alone. And the kids kind of just like laughed at me and walked away. And I stayed there until they walked away. But I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, have some respect. People already have this fear and caution about these types of dogs. Like, don't make it worse. Don't make it worse. So I'm going to go into Bon Fresco. This is the crease shade. Very beautiful. But I like to blend out the edges. I feel like that shade was very blendable. It was very nice. But now I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush and just kind of go over everything and blend out those edges. I did have a bit of kickback, but nothing too substantial. in the palette, like the palette doesn't have dust everywhere, just know, like, tap in lightly. You don't need to like go in hard and heavy to get pigment. But it's a beautiful shade. I was able to build it up. And I think it's a nice crease shade. I just feel like I also need a shade that I can then go in and just kind of blend everything. I can still hear those kids outside. Listen, my dogs are little. I have a French Bulldog and a Boston Terrier, but let me catch you taunting them, okay? This is just so frustrating. And I am not saying by any means that it is okay when dogs attack kids. I'm not saying that like the kids should be at fault, but what I'm saying is like that is what happens. Like that is what happens when dogs get defensive. And so in order to protect both our kids and our dogs, like we need to teach them mutual respect. We can't just be training the dogs, we have to train the humans also. That's just how I feel. Okay, so I think the names are, I feel like this one's probably Mink Dust. So this would be Lunar Legend, Sienna Rose, and Cyber Bronze. So I'm going to go in with this one in Sienna Rose. I'm going to use my BK203, my favorite brush for shimmer shades. I'm just dusting it off because of course it's dirty. And I am going to spray my brush because I always do. This is picking up on the brush nicely. But I want to minimize the fallout with my spritz. And actually there is a mirror in here. So let me get closer. Ooh, this is a beautiful shade. Yeah, this is so pretty. The thing I like about these quads, I know I have to reach into another palette for some more matte shades, but I feel like these are great for like on-the-go looks, because if you're someone like me where you can get overwhelmed by too many shades and you don't know what to do, you basically just pop the crease shade in, pick a shimmer shade because you know they're all going to look good, and like you're good to go. It's like super quick and easy. Like that's it. That's it. Now I have been taking the shimmer and just blending it up into my crease. I don't apply it there. I apply it lower, but I have been blending it into my crease lately because I do have hooded eyes, and I feel like that's very helpful because like when my eyes are open, you can't see much, and I want you to be able to see what is happening here. So then I'm going to go in with my handy dandy pencil brush, the E30, and that matte shade, and tap it off a bit. I feel like this might be a little deep, but we're gonna put it right underneath the eye. This will be a bit of a smokier eye. I honestly feel like even if you took that shimmer shade that I put on the lid and put it underneath the eye, I don't typically go in with shimmers underneath the eye, but I do feel like that would be pretty also, because it is more of a satin. You know, you don't have like a full glittery pigmented shade. It's more of a satin, which I love. So it would totally work underneath your eyes if you wanted to do that. So then what I'm gonna do is this shade right here, which we said, if this is Cyber Bronze, Sienna Rose, okay, Lunar Legend right here. And I'm just gonna take my pinky like I normally do. This isn't quite as bright as I hoped for. I like a bright inner corner pop. And this is more of like a champagne-y gold. I mean, this would work. It would work, but I want something that's a little bit more punchy. So I am going to go into this shade right here in Vermeer and just top it on top to get a nice bright look. You can really, I mean, go in with any shade. If you have singles, you can reach into your singles. But I honestly keep this palette around because look how much I use those two shades. But I'm gonna go ahead, jump off, finish my makeup, mascara, pick a lip, and I'll come back to give you my final thoughts. Ooh, y'all, I am feeling this look. This is the finished look here. I did something with my hair. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's something. Anyway, the lip that I used, this lip liner is caramel latte from Jaclyn Cosmetics and Dominique Cosmetics. She's a tease. I'm feeling this whole vibe. I am feeling it. This is a Kelly look here. Very easy, very quick and easy. Let's start with the face palette since I applied the face palette first. I do want to say this packaging is stunning. You have a magnetic closure. This is something where like I don't have much room out on my vanity since my filming space is also my bedroom at this point in time, but this is something I would totally display. I already have one blush from Pat McGrath. I have the shade Nymphette, and I really like it. I do enjoy Divine Rose. I think it's just like a beautiful, I mean, you can see it's not too dark. I didn't build it up too much. It's very buildable, but it's not too, you know, it's not too deep, but it's like a nice mauve shade, a nice rose shade. I really like that you have more of a satin finish with these blushes and that you can build them up. I haven't used the blush in the Middle Desert Orchid yet, but I think it's going to be like a great peachy gold blush. The highlighter is a bit deep. I actually forgot to swatch it next to the I Need a Nude Glow. I'm thinking about that because I filmed my swatches and everything. So hopefully I remember to do that and I inserted a clip, but it definitely is a little bit deeper. I can get away with it, but if you have super fair skin, porcelain skin, this will probably be too deep for you. I'm really excited about this blush palette. I think it's great. I just have the Galactic Sun Trio. I don't have the other one. It was a little bit deeper, but I think it's worth it for the blushes because I do really enjoy them. Now this was my first try with the palette. I have not used this palette before. I haven't used Pat McGrath eyeshadows before. My first time, and I'm really impressed. I do have to say though, this black packaging, like it gets dirty and it gets fingerprints really easily. I think these quads are great for quick and easy looks. You do have a deeper matte shade, but it was super blendable. I felt like it worked with the look. I really enjoyed this bronze shade right here. You do get kind of a smoky look, but I feel like it's really wearable, and I just was able to get it quick and easy. I did dip into another palette. If you have singles, you can dip into singles, but I don't necessarily think it's necessary. I think you can get away with it all on your own, and if you are someone who has a hard time like pairing shimmer shades with matte shades, you know, you definitely do have some options here. So overall, I'm really happy with this. I've been trying not to look at reviews, not to see people's thoughts, but I'm pleased. I'm happy to have these in my collection. I think they're definitely going to be go-tos for me. I already knew I liked the blushes, but the eyeshadows worked amazing. Is it something where I think you need to go out and pay full price? No. If you can get these at Sephora, I got this during the Friends and Family sale, and I got this on Pat McGrath's site when it first launched and they were offering 10% off. So if you can get these on sale, obviously I recommend that because they are really expensive, but it's Pat McGrath and I think that it was amazing. I'm really excited to use this more. I feel like this color story, this rose vibe, like that's what's in right now. It pairs really well with this lip. I'm super excited about it and I would recommend. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would love to have you subscribe before you go. That way I can see you in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye. Boom.